علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. رب زدنا علما أجمعين. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Uh, we'll study an important topic today, which is based uh, based on conditional sentence in detail. This is lesson number 15 of book number 3. In lesson number 14 and lesson number 13, Dr. Abdurrahim did tell us about the conditional sentence, right? But that was just introducing us to some words. Like in the previous lesson, he introduced "iza," right, as a noun of condition, right? So "iza," and we know that when there is a conditional sentence, there is shart, that is a condition, and then there is jawabu shart. All right. So this will go on with all types of conditional sentences. The shart means condition, and its answer. Like if I do this, then this will happen. Right? Even in English, we have a shart and the jawab shart. So this goes in condition, because conditional sentence will always be having, it will have two clauses. Right. So this was lesson number 14, where Dr. Abdurrahim introduced ISA. And the lesson before that, he just gave us an introduction about, he didn't tell us about the word shart and jawab shart, but he just tried to go ahead and make us aware that there is a conditional sentence uh, in Arabic language, and he just gave us a brief introduction about it. But in this lesson, which is lesson number 15, Dr. Abdurrahim talks about all the instruments of condition. What do you call it? Instruments of condition. Right? Remember this. What's instruments of condition are? Instruments of condition can be, they can be particle, they can be nouns. Right? So like the noun we know, what is an instrument of noun? One of the nouns we know is iza. Right? Iza, that's the noun of condition. What is a particle of condition? Law. Right? Law. So these are the instruments of condition. But if you talk about in further classify it, so you will have particles of condition. All right. So what is a particle of condition? Law. And then there are the details. Does it make anything majzoom or not? Does the iza make anything majzoom? Does it make any change to the verb? We say no. All right. So what I'm trying to tell you here is the instruments of condition can be particle, it can be a noun. All right. So far, we know about two of them. One, we talk about law, that is an instrument of condition, which is a particle. So we call it a particle of condition. And how it functions on a sentence, right? We have studied it. I don't want to go in that. In the same way, we have the noun of the condition, that is iza. So that is also an instrument of condition, but that's a noun. So we call it iza, it's iza. So how that functions, we studied in lesson number 14. Just go through those again. But in this lesson, lesson number 15, Dr. Abdurrahim is going to go ahead and tell us lots and lots of instruments of condition. Now, some of them might be particles and some of them will be nouns. And he will also tell us that when there is a jawab shart coming, that is, I told you that in a conditional sentence, there are two clauses, shart and jawab shart. When does the jawab shart get fa on it? Getting my point? When does the jawab shart, very important, when does the jawab shart, what's a jawab shart? The response to the condition or the answer to the condition, that is the second part of the condition. When does jawab shart get a fa? Right? Sorry, fa. Fa, right? Fa on it. When? So we need to study that in detail, inshallah. And it's a very important lesson. Lesson number 15. But straight away, let's do this here. Let's go to the exercises here, and in exercises, Dr. Abdurrahim will tell us more details about it. If he is saying or all right, we'll come to this later on. What we will first do is we'll first try to make our understanding of shart and jawab shart. All right. So we'll read it from here. Another very, I'm here at the top. Another very important word denoting shart is in. So law, iza, and in. So this is in. In, alif with a kasra and a noon with a skoon. In. One was inna with a shadda. That's different. That is inna wa adawatuha. That makes mubtada, mansoob. We call it ismu inna, and then it's khabar inna. That's a different word. Inna is different. This is in. In means if, right? And the verb that will be following it will be majzoom. And jawab shart will also be majzoom. So if you say in tazhab, so this is our condition. This is our condition. In tazhab, azhab. You see both of these words, they are majzoom. So the first one is a shart. In tazhab, it means if you go, right? If you go azhab, I will also go. It actually means I will go. Also is understood. If you go, I'll go. That means if you go, I will also go. But you do not have aidan here. It's understood. All right. If you go, I will go also. Note that both the verbs, that is the shart and the jawab, shart, there's a verb in shart and there's a jawab shart verb, both are majzoom. So in makes, in will, what would in demand? When will you say in is a shart? When the fi'l mudari' following it, obviously fi'l mudari' will be majzoom, madi cannot be majzoom, right? Madi is fixed, it's mabni. But the verb will be mudari', so this mudari' will be majzoom. And that is why in and its sisters. So we have in and its sisters, right? So you see, so it will have its sisters. It will have its sisters. We're going to meet them in a while. So you call them adawatu sharti jazima. Adawat is the plural of adat. Adatu shart, like you have adatu shart. Adat. Adat means instrument, singular. Adatun. Right? It means an instrument. Its plural is adawat. This is the plural of it. So you call them the instruments. Shart means condition. So this is an idafa construction. All right. Adawatu shart. Al jazima is the nat of adawat. So this means you have, because you see that it is feminine, non-human plural, its nat is feminine singular, and it's marfu, and it's definite. So you have the conditional word. So adawatu shart jazima means the adawatu shart means instruments of condition, right? So adawatu shart jazima means majzoom, majzoom instruments of condition. So those instruments of condition that make the verb majzoom. There are some that make majzoom, right? So this is one of them. So they're all the sisters. It's a group, right? So what they do is they will have their meaning. It will mean if, like if it's in, it will mean if, and its sisters will have different meaning. But we'll identify them if the verb following them in shart and jawab shart both are majzoom. Let's look at it. If we have, we'll first look at the examples of in only. So you have an example here. In ta'kul. In ta'kul. Ta'kul is majzoom. And ta'aman is the mafulun bihi of this. And fasidan is again mansub. So this is the nat of this. So this is our shart, right? This is our shart. This one. In ta'kul ta'aman fasidan. If you eat rotten food, tamrad, you will fall ill. Marida yamradu. What's the verb? Marida yamradu means to fall ill, to fall sick. مرض, right? مرض يمرض, right? So, and it'll be tamradu, it becomes tamrad. It is majzoom. So you have two verbs that are majzoom. And if you have two verbs majzoom, this means this is a conditional sentence and you have an in. So in means if. If you eat rotten food, in English you put a comma, right? You will fall sick. The jawab shart here does not get a fa at all because jawab shart is a verbal sentence. If jawab shart is a verbal sentence, it can never get a fa. Even the same thing was here. So we didn't say in tazhab fa azhab. No, that would be wrong because the jawab shart, if it's a verbal sentence, then it cannot get a fa. So that's one of the point we got to remember. All right, then we have another sentence. In tansurullah. Now this is our condition here. In tansuru. Tansuru is plural. The verb was actually tansuruna. What was it? Tansuruna. But if you have a plural word and you want to make it majzoom, you drop its noon, right? Plural. It becomes tansuru. What's tansuru? It is majzoom bi hasfi noon. Lafzul jalala, Allah is the maf'ulun bihi, so it's mansub. If you help Allah, and then you put a comma, in tansurullaha yansurkum. You see yansur? It is again majzoom. Yansurkum. If you help Allah, yansurkum, not yansurukum. Now, why is it not marfu? Because it's a conditional sentence. It will be majzoom. In tansurullaha yansurukum. If you help Allah, He will help you. وَيُثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَكُمْ, and make your foothold strong. All right. Then we have, all right, so if it was a negative one, so in means if you say if not, right, if you have to make a negative of it, so you say in plus la, like you have it here, becomes illa. You write it together like this. Illa would mean if you don't, or if not. So we have an example. Illa, in la, so you assimilate them together. It's known as idgham, right? You assimilate them together. You assimilate the noon with the lam, and you give a shadda to it. So it becomes wa in la tagfirli. Now this is our condition here. If you do not forgive me, tagfirli. Li would be the maf'ulun bihi here. Tagfir is fi'lun mudari'un majzumun. Why is it majzum? So this is the fi'l shart, right? You're going to identify the fi'l shart is majzum. Why is it majzum? Because we have an in before. In demands that the verb following it, and the conditional sentence has to be majzum. Wa in la tagfirli, and this is with it. Wa tarhamni, and if you do not have mercy on me. Then this is our shart here. This is our shart. Akun min al khasirin. Kana yakunu. What's it? Kana yakunu. Kana yakunu. So yakunu, takunu, takunu, akunu. So it's actually akunu. So how you made akunu majzoom? Akunu, if you make majzoom, what happens? It was like this. Akunu. When you make it majzoom, so this gets a skoon, right? So you have two vowel-less letters. So the weak one drops, this one will drop, it becomes akun. What's it become? Akun. That's akun here. So what's akun? It is majzoom. It is fi'lun majzoom. Right? We know that how to make the verb majzoom. So that's the reason why we got to practice more and more if we are weak in that. So akun is a majzoom verb here, and it is a jawab shart. Min al khasirin. It was khasirun, khasirin, because we have a harf jar before it. If you do not forgive me, wa in la tagfirli, wa tarhamni, and have mercy on me. I mean, if you do not forgive me and not have mercy on me, akun min al khasirin, I shall be among the losers. Right? So this is the jawab shart, and jawab shart does not get a fa here in this case because even in this case, the jawab al-shart is a verbal sentence. And if the jawab al-shart is a verbal sentence, it cannot get a fa in there, all right? Now, there are more words like in. So in is the first one, it means if, but there are more that what we call them as instruments of condition. There are many instruments of condition and we call them as the sisters of inna, right? So the first one, the second one we have technically, because in, if you consider as the first one, then you have man. So man, we already know what's man. We studied man as ism istifham, right? We studied this as ism istifham, uh, which means who. But here, this would mean if it's followed by, if man is followed by the majzoom verb, then this in is adatu shart. It is a noun of condition. It is an instrument of condition, we would say, to make it simple. So then it will mean it means who already, right? But here it will translate into it will make into a conditional sentence. So for example, we have fa man. So we have man. So this fa is like you say and or so as the same fa in the beginning. So that's you start a sentence. So man ya'mal. Faman ya'mal. What's ya'mal? It's a fi'lun mudari'un majzumun. We didn't say ya'malu. So the moment you find a fi'lun mudari'un majzumun, so this man is not istifham. It doesn't mean who, it will mean whoever. I mean whoever or whosoever. That is now a condition. Now the same word, but based on how it's placed in the sentence, it will give a different meaning. So this is not a question here. It is a condition. But who told us this man here is an adatu shart, is an instrument of condition? This fi'l mudari majzoom. The fi'l shart is majzoom. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ. So this is the maf'ulun bihi, mithqala zarra. And this is an idafa construction, right? A weight of an atom. Mithqala zarra. Zarra means a very, very small thing. We can say an atom, but it will mean an extremely small thing. Mithqala zarratin khayran. If, so this is all a part of the condition. Whoever does an atom's weight of good, in English you will put a comma here, and yarahu. So this was actually yara, right? Yara means yara. He sees. And when you make it majzoom, you drop it. We know that, right? When you make this nakis verb majzoom, you drop it. And the mafulun bihi is who, so it becomes yarahu. So what is yarahu here? It is fi'lun mudari'un majzoomun with its mafulun bihi. It's an attached pronoun. Why is it majzoom? Why is it not yarahu? When you usually attach a pronoun to the weak verb, the ya converts into an alif, right? So if it wasn't majzoom, it would have been like this. It would have been alif there, right? Because an alif, we know that when there is an attached pronoun, whether it gets attached to the noun or it gets attached to a verb, it converts into the proper alif, right? But it's not the case. If there was an alif, then it would have been a simple marfu verb. But there's no alif here. It's not yarahu, it's yarahu, because it's majzoom. And majzoom, you say fi'lun mudari'un majzoomun bihasfi harfi illah. You removed its weak one there, right? Because when you make a weak verb majzoom, its weak letter drops. All right. So it is yarahu. What's yarahu? Jawab shart. Again, jawab shart here is majzoom. All right. It is majzoom. And fi'l shart here is again majzoom. So this man is what? It is an adat shart. Whoever does an atom's weight of good shall see it. Now, fi'l mudara can be used for present as well as for future. So the translator here has used shall see it or sees it. That's fine, both are fine because mudara can be used for both. So man is the first one. Another is ma. Again, ma and mata and aina. All of these four we have used as istifham for a question. But now their transitions will vary, because if they are followed by fi'lun mudari majzumun, then these are not istifham. These are conditional conditional instruments, not particles, they're nouns. So, but in generally we will say instrument of condition instead of going in noun of condition or particle of condition. To be on the safer side, you simply say, if you do not know, simply say an instrument of condition, right? Instrument of condition will include both. It can be particle of condition or noun of condition, all right? But we know that these are the nouns of condition. Ma, so whatever, that or which, that transition will vary. Mata, mata in question would mean, in interrogation would mean when, but in the conditional clause, it will mean whenever. Aina would mean where, but here it will mean wherever. So who will determine this meaning? What follows it? If the verb following all of these is fi'lun mudari and majzuman, then it's not istifham, it's a conditional sentence. Mathalan, we have mata tusafir. So you're not translating this as when are you traveling? Then it would have been mata tusafiru. Mata tusafiru marfu. If it's mata tusafiru, it will mean when are you traveling. But it is mata tusafir. Whenever you travel. Usafir. I will also travel. So you can see that this will determine these two majzoom verbs there. The first one is fi'l shart and second one is jawab shart. All right. They will determine that the meaning of this mata is for the condition, it would be whenever. All right. So, and we have ma. وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمُهُ اللَّهُ. So you have وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ. So this is our condition here. First part of the sentence, and this is the second part of the sentence. All right. Two parts of the sentences here. وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا. What is تَفْعَلُوا? فِعْلُ شَرْط. Why? Because this is majzoom here. How is it majzoom? Because the verb should be tafa'aluna. It's not tafa'aluna, it's tafa'alu. So what is tafa'alu? It is fi'lun mudari'un majzumun bihazfi noon. Min khairin. Ma here would mean whatever, not what. وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ. Min khair means from the good. Whatever good you do, and you put a comma here, يَعْلَمُهُ اللَّهُ. Allah knows it. We didn't say يَعْلَمُ. يَعْلَمُ. It is majzoom. Right? So these majzoom verbs you're going to identify. You're going to identify where they are. Sometimes the instrument of condition might be missing, and the verb will be in the majzoom form. Right? That's an advanced form of it. We'll see that later on. But keep an eye whether the verb is marfu, mansub, or majzoom. All right. Ya'lamuhullah. Why is ya'lamu majzoom? Because it is the jawab shart. Right? These are all the sisters of in. Sisters of in will have a fi'l shart as majzoom and jawab shart as majzoom. All of them. And you see, in none of these we have a fa on jawab shart. Why? Because that fa, because the jawab shart here is a verbal sentence, and on a verbal sentence you do not put a fa on the verbal sentence unless and until there is qad on it, or there is seen on it, like sa, which is for the future, or you have ma before it, or you have lan before it, right? All right. So if there are these particles before the verb in the jawab shart, then the jawab shart would be preceded with a fa. So it'll be falan. It'll be in that case faqad. All right. Fasa, whatever the verb is. In that case, there will be fa on it. Right. And if it's jumla ismiya, then there will be fa. If there's jumla talabi means amr or istifham or even negative command, then there is a fa. If there is lan before the verb, then it'll be fa. If there's qad before the verb, there's a seen before the verb. And if there is laisa, in that case also there will be fa. I'll tell you a formula to remember it later on. Once we do it, I'll tell you a formula. But first we'll study them one by one. And then we have aina taskun, askun. Wherever you stay, aina there would mean aina where. Here it means wherever. Aina taskun, wherever you stay, I will also stay. All right. And then we have, just to give it an emphasis uh, for these, uh, for the aina, you sometimes add an extra ma. It's often added to aina for emphasis. All right. For example, we have aynama kuntum yudrikukumul maut. Aynama kuntum. Wherever you may be, wherever you may be, aynama, it's emphasis. It was actually ayna. Aynama kuntum, death will overtake you. Surah 4, ayat 78, that is Surah Nisa. All right. And furthermore, you have ayu, which means whichever. Ayu there means which, right? Ayu talibin, which student. But here it will mean whichever. And again, we know that this always comes as mudaf. So you have ayya mu'jamin, right? So this is mudaf ilay. Ayya will always be followed by mudaf. It will be ayyu or ayya because it is marab. It can get declined unlike the other ones. But you see that najid is fi'lun mudari'un majzumun and it has its mafulun bihi with it. Najid hu. Ayya mu'jamin najidhu fil maktabati. So this is our shart here. This is our condition, and this is our fi'l shart, and this is our jawab shart. All right. So you have ayya mu'jamin najidhu fil maktabati. Mu'jam means dictionary. Ayya mu'jamin najidhu. Najidhu means we find it. Najidhu, we find it. And whichever dictionary we find, fil maktabati, in the bookstore or bookshop, nashtarihi, we will buy it. It was actually nashtari. There was a ya there also. We dropped that ya because ishtara yashtari. Yashtari with a ya there, and we dropped that ya. And for the sake of to facilitate the reading, we know that if there is a kasra before who, right, we pronounce it as he. That's the reason why it is nashtarihi, right? But nashtari who is difficult to pronounce. And we know this rule from book 1 or maybe book 2. And there's new one word, mahma. It means whatever, right? Whatever. Mahma takul, and you see takul, this is takul, fi'l shart. All right, so this is our condition here. And jawab shart, nusaddiqhu. Nusaddiq is majzoom. Whatever you say, nusaddiq, we believe you. And there are more details about it, which we're going to study in the book straight away. But there is one more thing I would like to share with you, that would be the table. All right. You have this table is important. That has all of it. All right. There are 10 of these right now. And just take the picture of it and write down on your notebooks properly all of these, because you will come across these words in the Quran and you have to find the fi'lun mudari' and majzoom after it, and based on that there will be the translation you're going to keep. You're going to translate that way. So you have let's read it from here. Al asma wa shartiya means conditional nouns, but as I said that we can remember them with a broader meaning. That would be the instrument of condition. When you say instrument of condition, you don't need to remember whether it's a noun or a particle. But yes, if you remember it's a noun or a particle, that will be great. So, but here, these are the nouns only among these instruments. What they do is, al-asma wa shartiya, what they do, they govern mudari'a, they give jazm to the shart as well as jawab shart, if it's mudari'a. They appear before two sentences. The first is called shart and the second is called jawab shart, or you also call it jaza in other grammar books also. Condition and the result. So you can say shart and jawab shart. All right. So remember the first point, both the verbs are majzoom, shart as well as jawab shart. Later on, we'll come across those instruments of shart, they will not make it majzoom. So you have to remember which of the instruments of shart make a verb majzoom and which do not make the verb majzoom. You have to remember that. So these ones make the verb majzoom. That's there, and these are all nouns. There will be particles also that make it majzoom, or there will be particles that do not make it majzoom. All right. So that's the reason why I'm saying in the broader context, we can remember it as an instrument to make it easy, to make life easier for us. So the first one, you have man, it can mean who, or it can also mean whoever. Both of these meanings would be there, right? It depends on how you're going to use it. The usage is that it's used for a human being. We know that for an akal, for an intelligent being, this is not important. This column is not important. And you have an example, and you can write your own sentences. Whoever, like you say, man yukrimni, you see, majzoom, yukrimni ukrimhu. Whoever treats me well, whoever respects me, or whoever treats me well or hospitably, I will treat him hospitably. Ukrimni. So you do not have a comma in Arabic, but we know that this is shart and this is jawab shart, like that. All right. And the same way we have ma, the second one. We have studied all of these, ma, whatever. And we know that ma is used for ghair akil. So again, it's in the column. Ma ta'kul, ma ta'kul. Whatever you eat, akul. I will also eat. You see now here, this is the right one. There's a comma in all of these put. In the other one, it was not. Mahma, whatever, or however, all these, it all, see why the transitions will always vary. It will vary because it will all depend on the sentence. You do not do a word to word transition. Don't say there was a meaning of mahma. It will mean whatever, right? It will mean whatever in most of the cases. But again, say ma also would mean whatever. So it all depends on the sentence, right? What you are trying to say. We don't do word to word translation. مهما تنفق في الخير ينفعك. شرط and جواب شرط. Whatever نفقة, it's أنفق ينفق, right? أنفق means to spend. Whatever you spend in the way of good, ينفعك. Nafa, it's nafa, right? Nafa. Nafa means to benefit, right? Will benefit you. Mata. Again, the mata istifham means when. Here it can mean when, or it can also mean whenever. So this is used for time, lizaman. Mata tazhab azhab. Whenever you go, I'll go. Ayyana, it's a new word for you. Remember it. It will also mean whenever. Ayyana tusafir, usafir. Whenever you travel, I will travel. Aina, wherever. When will it mean wherever is when it's used in condition. Aina tazhab, azhab. You see, this much zoom tells us it means where it is a condition, right? Anna, not used that much, wherever. It's again, it's an adverb, right? Adverb of zaman and makan. Wherever you stay, anna tanzil, anzil. Wherever you stay, I'll stay. You can use aina for this, all right? Aina or ainama. Now this is important, this one, 8-1, haisu or haisuma. Haisuma tusafir, wherever you travel, I will travel. Kaifama, it's same as kaifa. Kaifa, we know kaifa, but you use it as kaifama. It's used kaifama taf'ud. No, not taf'ud, it should be taqud. Kaifama taqud, aqud. Whichever way you sit, I will sit. Ayu, we know this ayu always used as mudaf, right? It can be used for any of the above. What's any of the above? Any for any it can be used, right? Which, so it will mean which. Ayu makanin, whichever place, tazhab, you go, I will go. All right. Very important table this. In this you have the nouns of instrument, the particles of instrument we're going to study later on, and these are all, you call it, there's also in, which is not there in this one, but we'll find the difference between in and all these later on. But just remember that these are, all of these that are in the table right now, they are asma'u ashartiya. They are the nouns of condition. In the broader term, we call them instrument of condition. So whenever they come, they will have a fi'lun mudari' following them. There will be fi'l mudari' coming them, and that fi'l mudari' is always going to be majzoom. It will be majzoom. And there will be a fi'l shart and there will be a jawab shart. All right. Both of them are going to be majzoom. And this would be the same thing that exactly the same thing that would be explained by Dr. Abdurrahim in the book. So if you see that here, there is an exercise, try to do this exercise. This one, the second one here. So you just have to put in this in. He says في كل فقرة مما يأتي جملتان. In all of these there are two جملتان, two sentences. اجعل فعل الأول شرط. In the first one is going to be شرط. You're going to make this a شرط. وفعل الآخر أخرى. The next one, the another one, جوابه. You're going to make it's جواب الشرط مستعملا in. You're going to be using in. All right. So try to do this exercise. So it'll be, so the verb here is tadribuni. Tadribuni means you are beating me. Adribuka, I am beating you. So you'll say in tadribni adribka. If you beat me, I will beat you. So put in and make it majzoom, both of them. Try to do this exercise today. All right, all of these. So you just have to make the fi'l majzoom. That's it. And write the translation also. This is a very good exercise. This will make a foundation for your conditional sentences. Just like you used to do the exercises for Jumla Ismiya and then you used to do the exercise for conjugation. Exactly in the same way, you need to do the exercise for this also. Right? This will, inshallah, make things easier if you try to practice as much as possible. In this one, just use in and write the translation also for the same. All right. And uh, and the second we have na'malu salihan. In na'mal salihan nadkhul al jannah. In na'mal salihan, if we do perform good deeds, we will enter Jannah, inshallah. Nadkhul, make them majzoom. In the same way, there will be plural verbs, and you know how to make plural verbs majzoom. There will be nakis verbs, there will be ajwaf verbs, make them majzoom. So try to do this exercise today, and we will continue this inshallah tomorrow. All right, but try to revise this. With that, we end the session. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.